Starting with the new lecture series for the DBMS. DBMS means Database Management System. Before going into details of DBMS, in this lecture we are going to discuss the file system and what's the benefits of using DBMS over the file system. Okay, this subject is also important from your interviews and competitive exam point of view, because in every interview and in every uh, competitive exam you are going to have the DBMS queries and you are going to face the DBMS questions like keys, constraint, normalization, etc. So to get a practical hand, also follow up with the DBMS practicals that I have uploaded over the YouTube channel, so that you can get a practical exposure of this subject as well. Starting with the lecture, let's find out what the file system is. In computing, it controls how the data is stored and retrieved, like document file, Excel file, MP3 text file, etc. Means everything stored over the computer is in the form of a file, and every file is identified by a name and type. For example, Excel file will every Excel file or document file will be having a particular name that is with an extension. For example, result.doc, result.excel. So every file is identified by a distinct name and extension. MP3 file and MP4 file, text file, .txt, .doc, etc. Every file is having a particular identity that isolate each piece of data, means each file from other files. Okay, so before DBMS or any person can store their simple records or simple data with the file systems. Now what's the DBMS is? Introduction to DBMS. For that we have to cover many definitions like data, information, database, and then we will come to the DBMS. So data is a known fact that can be recorded and have implicit meanings. For example, names, addresses, etc. They are self-defining. Means if I having a number, I can identify that it's a mobile number, it's a house number, or it's a name, it's an address. So, so all these things can be identified by the having the implicit meaning. And when the data or the raw facts or the raw information is processed, it becomes information. Okay, so these type of processed data is known as information. Next, what's the database is? Database is a collection of related data with an implicit meaning. For example, if we have a package or a collection of multiple types of data, for example, some records of employees, some records of students, some records of any other organization or any other institute, so that's not going to be a single database. Okay, but that can be multiple databases. Means student records can represent one database, employee record can represent one database, same way any organization's record can represent their database. But collection, one database will be having only related data. For example, all the tables related with the student student records, or managing the student system, or managing the ERP system of employees, they those all records comprises of one database. Okay, and a database is built, designed, and populated with data for a specific purpose. Always we are going to design or build or fill the database for a specific purpose only. For example, an organization is having several employees, or a banking system is maintaining their own database to the manage the things properly and in easy way, and to avoid the inconsistency between the records or for the database. So they are having a specific purpose why they are maintaining the database, because manpower is not enough to maintain such a huge databases. Databases are organized by fields, records, and files. Okay, although the database is a collection of related data that is having implicit meaning, but to arrange a database we have a particular hierarchy. For example, fields are the smallest entity. Next we have records or rows of the database, and next is the file. Actually we are talking about or discussing about the relational database system. Here all DBMS we are going to discuss are relational database management system. Here relational means the collection of tables having the relation between them. For example, a student database is having 10 tables, for one for the course, one for the balance inquiry, or sorry, fee management account department, with account department, one with the sports, one with the department, and one with library. So student record is managed using multiple tables at various levels. For example, at account department they are having a different table, for library they are having different table, for department they are having different table, but yet they have some common things between all the tables. Means all the tables are related through a roll number, or we can say that registration ID of the student. So all the data is related, that is a database. Okay, and we are talking about relational database only. Relations means we are having multiple tables related to each other. Okay, the database can be of any size and complexity. Next, database hierarchy is database consists of multiple files or the tables. We can say that multiple tables. Next, tables are having records, multiple records, and each record is having multiple fields. Okay, so this is the hierarchy. For example, this is a table with 3 columns. First is serial number, name, and roll number. So every entry is representing record of one student. If we are taking the it says a student table that stores just the name and roll number of the student. So here every student is identified by a serial number, name, and a roll number. Okay, so we have records of 3 students, because every row is representing record of one student. So we are having 3 records over here, and these cells, or every cell having a particular information at the intersection of row and column, they are representing fields of the database. Okay, so these are the fields and the records are also known as tuples and rows of the table, and the fields, collection of fields, are becoming a forming one record. So here every record is representing information about one student. Okay, sorry, one record is representing information about one student, next record is representing information about second student, and the third record is representing information about third student. We can also call them tuples or rows. I think this is clear. Next, coming to the DBMS. What the DBMS is, database management system, is a software package that is a collection of programs that enables user to create and maintain a database. Now we have discussed data and database. Okay, so collection of related data is forming a database. Next, how to handle that database, how to create, maintain that database is managed by the DBMS. So DBMS is basically containing no data, but they are having software or programs or packages that are handling or maintaining the database. Okay, so we can see the hierarchy for this is like we have any application. For example, if we are using Facebook and we want to update our username, our name, or any other information we want to update over the Facebook server. So every record is maintained by the Facebook server, Facebook database, and to access the Facebook database, we have a particular application in our mobile or through desktop applications. Okay, so we are using a application program. Here, this application program is used to access a particular database. Okay, so we are not accessing the Facebook database directly. We have to log into the Facebook application. Then Facebook application on behalf of the user will make appropriate changes to the database. Suppose I want to change my name, I want to change my mobile number or contact details or anything. So we are approaching to the application program only, may it be a Facebook application, WhatsApp application, or any other application, and the application program on behalf of user will access the database or make appropriate changes to the database on the request of user. Okay, and all these changes are not directly managed by the application program to the database. We have an interface. We have DBMS as an interface between the application program and the database. Okay, so application end user, suppose we are the end user, we are requesting the application program, and the application program on behalf of user is requesting the DBMS, because DBMS is the software that is having multiple programs to retrieve data from the database, to update the data from the database, to delete the data from the database, etc. So DBMS is a collection of program that helps us to manage the database. Clear? Next, we can also have the hierarchy like any of the user can also access. If we have like admin, so admin can access the DBMS directly without the interface of application program. Okay, so end user, suppose they are managing the administrator of Facebook, administrator of WhatsApp, they can directly access the DBMS to make any change or to perform any updations to the database. Okay, so end users like us are accessing the database through an application program. An application program is accessing DBMS, then DBMS access the database. Same way, if the end user is application administrator like user, then he can access, or he or she can access the DBMS directly without application program interface. I think this hierarchy is clear. Next, what are the DBMS functionalities? DBMS is a general purpose software system that facilitates the following processes. It helps us to perform following processes, or we can say that, for example, first one is defining, specifying data types. It helps us to define data type, structure, constraints for the data. Means for a table, with the help of DBMS, we can define the data type of each and every field, or the attributes, columns, and define the structure of the table. We can define constraints over data. Constraint means, suppose for mobile number we need 10 digit number. So these type of constraints can be easily managed through the database. Next, constructing, storing the data. So DBMS is also managing the storage of data over the secondary storage mediums where the data is actually stored. And third functionality is manipulating. DBMS is having the processes or programs to help the user for inserting, retrieving, deleting, and updating the data over the database. Next is sharing. DBMS also allow the sharing of data among various users and applications simultaneously. Next, yet keeping all the data valid and consistent. Here this is the most important thing while sharing the data. If the database is shared by multiple users, then it's very necessary to maintain the consistency of data, and data must be valid every time. So these features are also provided by the DBMS. Next is protection and security measurement. All the security and the authentication checks can be easily performed over the database system. Last is the presentation and visualization of data. Here by the presentation and visualization means we can make a user view only the specific or the required data. Means if we are having the database of millions or billions of records, it's up to the database administrator or database handlers to make presentations or views for multiple users. For example, they can make a user access only 1/4 of the database, or only 1,000 records of the database, depending on the constraints. So this type of presentation visualization can be easily managed through the DBMS. For example, if a banking system is having a centralized database, and they can also keep a presentation or the view of the data according to the areas. For example, they can have a view over the Delhi server for the users of Delhi, and they can also have the a view of all the users for records of all the users for the Haryana at the Haryana server. By this, queries can be executed fast and the transaction time is reduces. Here a transaction means anything we change over the database, like insertion, retrieval, deleting, updation, anything we perform is a type of transaction. But for every transaction, the main requirement is database should remain in the consistent stage before and after the transaction, and the concurrency should be maintained. These topics we are going to discuss in further slides. Now we have benefits of database over the file system. First one is redundancy can be reduced. Yes, the redundancy, for example, if we are maintaining multiple employees are managing data through the various files, then there can be redundancy with every employee, means they can have the same entries with different types because there is no particular format in the file system. Next, data, we can share the data using DBMS easily. Standard can be enforced, we can enforce a user to enter the data in a particular format only with particular constraints. Security restriction can be easily applied over a DBMS system. Integrity and quality can be maintained with the DBMS system. Data independence can be provided. Backup and recovery options are there with the DBMS. Here data independence means we can enter, if we are updating a record, other records are not disturbed. Even if we can change the structure of the database, we can add extra columns without affecting any of the application program or any of the existing application program or any of the new application programs. So all these changes, data independence, operation independence, is can be provided easily using the DBMS system. These data independence will be the topic in further lectures. So backup and recovery can also be maintained easily. Next, data retrieval become efficient, means we can retrieve or we can analyze the data in various ways, just writing the simple commands or simple queries. Transaction problems can be removed. Economic on scale, yes, it's this DBMS system is economic for using for the large organization with huge databases. They cannot manage such a huge database using the manpower or using or manually. Next, two important approaches that the DBMS is having over the file system is inconsistency can be avoided using database, and concurrency control is there. So what these 2 points are: data consistency. First one is data consistency. For example, let's understand the concept of data consistency using a simple example. For example, we have a user A and a user B. The balance of user A is rupees 20,000 and the balance of user B's account is 11,000. Okay, so this is the initial account records or account history that we have. Next, user A tries to transfer or wants to transfer a amount of rupees 1,000 to the user B's account. Now, the consistent stage of database after this transaction will be having user A with a balance of 19,000, because after transfer 1,000 should be deducted from the user A's account and should be deposited to the user B's account. So if the database left with a consistent stage after the transaction is complete, then user A must be having a balance of 19,000 and user B must be having a balance of 12,000. Okay, this is the consistent stage. But sometimes what happens, if the user A transfer, means the amount is deducted from the user's A's account but is not deposited to the user B's account. This type of situations are leaving the database in inconsistent states. We can say that these type of states are inconsistent states for the database. So user A is having 19,000 because amount is deducted from the user's A's account, but the same amount is not deposited to the user B's account. So this type of stages are inconsistent stages for the database because transaction is processed or initiated but not completed. Okay, this anybody in life must have experienced such type of inconsistency, or the uh, transactions experience, must be having a transaction experience. But what the DBMS are doing, they, if the transaction is not completely executed and the DBMS is not in inconsistent stage, the transaction is rollbacked. Okay, and the amount is reflected back to the user's A's account after some time, after 24 hours or after 48 hours. So the amount is reflected back to the user's A's account, and user B is having 11,000 and user A is having 20,000 again, because the transaction was not successfully done. Okay, so the approach of DBMS is whether the transaction is completed or the transaction is rollbacked. Here the rollback means the transaction is cancelled or started, or DBMS is left with the state or consistent state before the transaction was initiated. Okay, next term is data concurrency. By data concurrency means when multiple users are accessing the same record. For example, we have user A and B are having a joint account with a balance of rupees 20,000. Now user A is having separate ATM for the same account, user B is having separate ATM for the same account, and both the users are trying to withdraw some amount from different locations at the same time from the same account. Okay, user A inserted the ATM, user B inserted the ATM, user A views the balance as 20,000 and user B is also viewing the same balance as 20,000. Okay, but after the transaction, what should happen? Either the user A's transaction should execute first or user B's transaction should execute first, and after the transaction, user A, if the transaction of user A is executed first, then the balance viewed by the user B should be 19,000. Okay, but if the users are accessing the records at the same time, then what will happen? User A views the balance as 20,000, user B also views the balance at 20,000, and suppose with a fraction of seconds gap, the user's B's transaction executed first and the balance is now 18,000, and after 1 second or after 1 millisecond or 2 second, user A's transaction is executed and the balance is now 19,000. Okay, but the balance should be 17,000 here, because ultimately 3,000 rupees are withdrawn. So the database is not in a consistent stage because of multiple transaction or multi-user access at the same time. So this type of data concurrency can be maintained easily, means this type of situation can be handled easily through the concurrency control protocols in DBMS. We will study such type of protocols in later units. In that, we get log over the transaction, uh, because both transaction cannot be executed at the same time. So if a user start the transaction or initiate a transaction, the account is logged, or we can say that record is logged for that user only, and after one user completes its transaction, only then other user can access the same record. Means other transaction can be processed uh, only after the user A or first user has finished the transaction. Only then next user can initiate the transaction. So such type of concurrency can be controlled through the concurrency control protocols. Next is the advantage of using the database approach. We have already covered these advantages as the comparison of file system and the DBMS system, like controlling redundancy, sharing of data, and restricting unauthorized access to the data, maintaining the security, providing a storage structure for the efficient use, providing backup recovery, representing the complex relationship among the data, maintaining the constraints, drawing interfaces and action, etc. So these are the advantages of using DBMS approach, database approach. But apart from these advantages, DBMS has some disadvantages also. For example, complexity increases. Yes, uh, for starting a new system or for starting a new database system, every user is going to face the complexity. For example, we were managing the library records manually, and suddenly we started using the software for the same, and we have to upload the book record of 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000 books over the software first. So, and we have to understand the system, how it works, how the queries can be done, how the analysis reports can be generated through that database system. So these type of complexities increases with the system. Additional cost of hardware is included, cost of converting the data from hard copy to the soft copy. Next, need of additional and specialized manpower. Maybe the persons before database were not able to handle the new system, handle the new database system. Then we need specialized manpower that can handle the new system or new database servers. Need of backup and recovery, and more installation and management cost. Yes, the cost is included, but if we have the system, for example, for banking system, before DBMS, all the works all the works were done manually, and there were a lot of staff engaged for these tasks. For example, to provide cash, to manage the deposit withdrawals, they have multiple persons deputed for the same function. But now in all banks generally we have single window system, means everything is managed through one window only, because of database system only. So at one side we can say that installation management cost is increased, but for long term it would be beneficial to use a database. It's going to benefit in the long term. These are some of the examples of DBMS system: MySQL, Postgre, RDBMS, DBase. Okay, we are going to practice. The practical sessions are on the Oracle system based. We have emailed you the software so that you can install it for the practical use. Now, the applications of DBMS are in all aspects of life. For example, banking, all transactions of banking, airline reservation and schedules, universities registration, grades, their result management, their course management, everything is done through database DBMS systems. Sales, customer, product purchases, manufacturing, production, inventory, order, supply chain, everything is managed through DBMS. Human resource management, um, and employee records, salary, tax, etc. All these applications are managed easily through the DBMS system, because, for example, we have airline reservation system without DBMS. Then what will happen? We will do everything manually. Means multiple counters can have redundant information. They can reserve the same seat from multiple counters. So these things are managed only with the help of centralized database system, so that redundancy can be reduced, backup can be maintained, concurrency, consistency, and security can be maintained easily for all the applications or all the areas of our life. Reference book for the subject is Fundamental of Database System, that is Navathe. You can get this book easily in the library, and we will also provide you the relevant notes for that, and this one book is enough for you. Thank you.